Emotional card deck guided to use this for you, Irene. This is the divine waiting for you. Have the wisdom card is that wisdom is profound understanding and insight, allowing you to see the essence of things. When wisdom enters your life, it reminds you to listen to your inner voice and find your own truth. So this is more than just experiencing life. So you have to go beyond the life situation to understand what's going on. And that's what this profound understanding and insight are about. So hopefully you are diving deeper to introspect, whatever that you need to reflect. Let me put this right here. Ambivalence. It's the inner tug of war between different choices, leaving you torn when making decisions. When you feel ambivalence, it reminds you to face your inner needs. Finding balance will allow you to make the choice that aligns with your true self. And of course, you have to understand yourself. If you're under so much influences, and that's what causing all this conflicts in your life, is it bothering you, like, or is this feeling? It's that trying to pull you in different direction as well. So I feel like feelings are the most tricky part, because if it involves so much of your negative feelings, and that's not feeling good, I feel like that's the time that you need to introspect those feelings. Are you attaching to something? Are you holding on to something you're not willing to heal, not willing to let go, instead of living your life that is coming from love? So I hope that you will learn to understand your fear, where that is coming from, so you can remind yourself, hey, you don't need to practice that type of fear. You can let love in your heart, to how you make better choices. Joy. Joy is a song of the soul, the perfect resonance with universe energy. When you feel joy, it means you are grateful for every moment of life. Embrace energy in brave happy moment and feel the lightness and happiness within. Just the phone is so light, sometimes hard for me to see it, but this is about, feeling joy is also come from love. Are you practicing the right kind of love, like the previous card is trying to say? Why you're having conflict, why you have hard time like making the right decisions for yourself, why does your heart pulling you in different direction? But if you allow the universal love frequency to guide you, and you're willing to change the way you feel about, and that's going to align your love energy to the universe energy as well. So it's just about changing the way you feel to change your energy in that kind of light, so that way you can feel lighter and happier every day, whatever you're encountering, right? Including the past, that you don't have to keep attaching to those unpleasantness. So this final card for you, letting go, is the process of releasing all past emotion and experiences, freeing you from the heavy burdens. Letting go reminds you that only by releasing the past can you embrace a new phase of life, allowing yourself to move forward with a lighter heart. So all the other previous cards has also talked about how attachment can harm you, especially the negative kinds, especially your negative emotions. Are you living in fear? Are you living in worry? Are you living in anger? Are you living in sadness? Are you living in so-called dissatisfactions? You know, Perhaps there's something that you need to adjust first before you can actually let go of that particular burdens, right? So I hope this helped you, and may you find light from your spiritual guardian. Divine waiting for Jamie, the Akashic Tarot. This is the Three of Key, the chess game. Where is that? I'm trying to get to the pages here, but it's not very friendly to right here. Upright, reverse. Politics, conflicts. I'm not sure how political maybe your life situation is, but there's definitely conflict. It is not going to change because people are keep practicing the same type of vibes to create those type of conflicts. And I feel like not just you, but whoever you're interacting with, stuck with their own negative energies. So therefore, change is gonna, it's unlikely. Wherever it's done cannot be undone. You can only better yourself by changing the way how you feel. Perhaps you find it difficult to change the way how you feel. Perhaps you're too stubborn to see a different view about those situations. I feel like it's more than one situations in your life causing you this, causing you to worry, causing you to be unhappy. I feel like you get discouraged easily about positive change. One, wanting. You still are wanting away from something because you want to not to deal with it. Perhaps you think that you have deal with it, and the only way is to keep running away from it. Whatever that particular situation is that you're supposed to face. Is there anything else on this chess game? So this isn't about chess game. Chess game is taking strategy. Chess game is like, let me do some manipulations around the situation. So your life is not like a chess game. Healing it isn't about chess game. Having a different energetic vibe that is good for you. It's not a chess game. You cannot do it through a chess game. Chess game is just like politics, strategy, manipulations, trying to keep changing the outcome to get a different outcome. That's not how this life path work because you're focusing on the one thing. Perhaps you're still focusing on life situation too much, unable to have insight about your own self first. You're still allowing external influences to get to you. So it is difficult for you, even when you're interacting with people in your day to day life. Is there anything else? Do you want me to use a different deck? Your guardian said it's up to you what kind of path that you're willing to take. If you want to continue to practice negativities, and that's the vibe you're going to vibe throughout the rest of your life. But if you want to practice positivity, you're willing to practice positivities. If that emotion is coming from love, then your energy will change. So you notice, Jamie, you're under influences by people's. It is time for you to awaken your spirit self to undo all of those influences. Whoever taught you when you were young, you don't have to be like that. That's not who Jamie is really is. If you want to have your authentic self back, it is time to let those influences go so you won't be trapped in this chess game forever. Whatever games that you're trying to play. Guide to end it here. May you find life in your spiritual guardian. Question reading for Torrance using the Sherman Dream Oracle here. Your relationship offer with your girlfriend book. Let me see. For some reason, I'm getting the word temporary from your spiritual guardian here. Your relationship with her, but I'm not sure exactly what that means when you say temporary. But let me move on to the card to see how it elaborates for you here. The crossing, the first card, initiation. Don't be afraid when you come to the edge of a situation. There's something you have to let go. Have you identified what hasn't served your greatest good yet? To let go those type of things. Are you truly living the best in your life in this lifetime? Intimacy requires vulnerability and truth. Are you still hiding behind your mask? Can you take off your mask and those barriers to face your truth? So that way you can take the initiation to connect to your higher self. That's what I'm getting here. So perhaps your girlfriend sees something about you that you're not willing to face. Perhaps you notice this relationship is toxic. If you're bringing in darkness into the relationship, how does that feel on the other party? Are you aware? It seems like you are aware of that, Torrance. Are you engaging in certain patterns that are not good for you and also not good for the relationship? So you have to identify what they are. But let me go to the wall, obstacles. Consider this relationship as temporary. No action is required. It is exactly meant for you to be where you are with her in this relationship. It's time to pause, to have insight about you, Torrance. It isn't so much about book. I feel like book has triggered you in this relationship status. It is meant for you to dive deeper into yourself, what it is that you are still afraid of to face. You cannot keep drowning into your own darkness forever, like running away from the past. Something deep in your past. I'm getting a trauma that you haven't healed. You're bringing emotional baggage into the relationship and think that the other person is going to fix it for you. It doesn't work this way, Torrance. You have to fix it yourself. She is just here to trigger you. And you are aware of that. It might seem like an obstacle. It feels like you're hitting the wall because you're desperate for making this relationship to work. But you cannot make it work until you make yourself work again. So I hope you see why you need to have no action in regard to this relationship. It is more about taking action for yourself. And that's what this card initiation is. Are you still afraid to cross this path to face your own self? Do you still think that this relationship with her is an obstacle instead of seeing it as a beautiful thing because you got triggered by it? So it is your attitude, the way how you need to see. And I hope you see the beautiful side of Brooke. She's doing the right thing for you. But are you willing to embrace this opportunity to help yourself in this? So this last card, caterpillar opportunity. So this is an opportunity card. I mean, it's even talk about this, okay? It's giving you opportunity to face your own truth. To if as long as you're willing to take the initiation for your own good. Opportunity to transform. How are you responding to this? There's a high calling you to do self transformations. Are you willing to open your heart and soul to invite yourself into this path? I think it's worth reflecting on things that have happened to you in the past. It's not just with Brooke. I feel like there's some other with family, for some reason with sibling, with co-workers, some past romantic relationship as well. They're worth reflecting on because they're telling you a piece of your story that you have missing out, but I feel like you knew what they are. But yet perhaps you think moving on, that's good enough. Trying different activity or hanging out with somebody else are actually good for you. So you don't have to really face the inner demon side of you. Is there anything else about this here? So don't doubt it, what she's telling you. I feel like Brooke is speaking the truth about this. I feel like she is your it's not just a catalyst, not just a trigger, but she is having some sort of spiritual messages to you, which is a blessing. She come into your life sending you some spiritual messages from above. So you have to make some serious decision for yourself here. I don't think it's about book here. When you say, is this over? Why do I feel like if you're going through this time of healing yourself, I feel like she will see you differently. So there's a reason why it's temporary. You cannot force love. Perhaps after going through this self transformation, you probably feel different about Brooke. That's what I'm sensing. Will you still feel the same way about her right now? I don't think it's going to be like that anymore. I feel like your relationship with her is going to transform to something different at a different level. Perhaps I'm getting the word spiritual. So this relationship is more spiritual. Oh, okay. I'm wondering why the word spiritual come to me. So it's something spiritual in this relationship. I don't think she is I don't think it is about the romantic thing about in this relationship. Perhaps this is a destiny for you and her come together to try to like giving you some sort of a spiritual awakening. I think here you just try to get an affirmation about something, but you're not realizing she already tell you quite a bit of what you already know. I think this reading is just affirmed it for you to heal your own self. Is there any more Torn need to learn about this relationship with Brooke? Relationship with her, I don't know why it's temporary. Is a temporary situation that having separation? Not that meaning. It is really temporary. It's not meant for permanent relationship in the future. I'm still trying to get an affirmation from your spiritual guardian. I don't know why it's temporary. It's not going to elaborate any further for you. But I'm confused about the word temporary. What's that mean, temporary? That mean there will be some sort of future relationship with Brooke, not the way now and in the past. Temporary meaning it's not gonna last forever, this relationship with Brooke. There is a destiny that's not allowed to disclose, but is right now it's over. Not really. For some reason it's just saying not really. Not really totally over. I don't know why, but then the word say temporary. It is a bit tricky. Are you trying to manifest the answer here, Torrance? I'm still trying to get a true answer from your spiritual guardian. Okay, I think you're manifesting it here. Maybe that's why I have a hard time getting answers through your spiritual guardian. You're interfering with your own energy. I'm going through your own portals to connect with your spiritual guardian, but your energy sending me frequency, like I'm interpreting your feeling, but not from through your spiritual guardian. That's why I couldn't hear your spiritual guardian telling me anything. What does that mean, temporary? So can you take deep breath and not think about the answer for both? Don't think about your personal desire. When you put your personal desire, you're creating your own answer here, okay? So take deep breath and release everything, and let me see if I can get something from your spiritual guardian. The temporary meaning permanent. Permanent, okay, is not going to be the same relationship as before. It is about moving on. There's something else in your future. It is not for me to tell you, Torrance, because your future is holding in your own hand. You're the one needs to co-create it with the universe. It's depend how well you're healing yourself in order to find the positive energy through the universal love, not through those emotional baggages that you're still holding on to. So I hope that makes sense. So it's not a romantic relationship with Brooke anymore. That's what I'm seeing. Whether you and her will still talk in the future, that will be something else. Like I said earlier, if once you start this healing path, you won't even feel the same way about her like you do right now. That's what I'm getting. So it is all up to you, Torrance, how well you went to heal yourself. So take the initiation. Don't think everything is an obstacle in life. That's a negative point of view. Be positive about everything that you encounter. So there, I feel like there's a soul lesson in everything. So that way you can actually seize the opportunity to vibe better energy. So remember, negative emotions are not a permanent thing. It's up to you if you want to choose love. Choose universal love whenever you're lost, wherever in the progress of healing yourself. Let love guide you home. And my God, and here, may you find light from your spiritual guardian. This is Celtic Cross for Lions journal category. First one is the theme, acceptance. It feels like you need to accept something in your life instead of, how to better express this. Let me go to the guidebook and see. When you don't accept, you have hard time letting go. It's kind of restricting you to free yourself. So therefore, you're creating more burden for yourself in this regard because you have hard time accepting certain situations, certain people, in people generally, not just only other people, but yourself as well, or even people that you cares about. Is there anything else I need to elaborate here? The challenge is breaking free because of all the attachment that you have put on yourself like a burden, because of all those life experiences that you have experienced in this lifetime, and including the subconscious level as well, through those soul journey that you have in the past that is beyond this lifetime. That's what I'm picking up, that you have hard time breaking free from them because you're still lacking the insight and deeper understanding of why you're attaching them like a burden. And the next one is as above, so below card here. Let me ask for help from the spiritual perspective. Physical perspective is like waiting. Okay, you feel like you need help, not that you're not aware of why you wanted help. About future, about something. I feel like you're trying to wanted to know, like anticipating the futures. Because you're struggling with something in your life, you don't want to let that go. I feel like survival, getting out the harm way, wanting the blessing, wanting the comfortable or good or so-called good life. That's why you're asking for help from this spiritual perspective level. But instead of doing something for yourself to change it, because you're still lacking the understanding of how to break free from all those attachments that you created for yourself. And then waiting, this waiting in this lifetime, getting you nowhere. And I feel like you're just waiting for this, for your life to change for better, instead of doing something about it, to break free of all those unpleasantness, to break free of all those things that are harming you. That's what I'm getting here. So this waiting is not gonna get you anywhere. I feel like it's not gonna help you to change in a positive way until you understand why you need to stop waiting. And the influence, I'm getting support. The outcome is turned away. Let me see about the support here. Feels like codependency. That's what I'm getting. You're codependent on different kinds of things. Can you help me keep breathing, Ryan? I'm getting headache. I don't know why. Through your energy. Do you get headache or something? Like stress or something in your life? Codependency. It comes in so many forms. Emotional codependency. Oh, I was like, yeah, I'm just like, start getting headache. I was hard time reading this reading for you. I was like, stress. I feel like you're in a lot of stress. So keep breathing, Ryan. Just release it. Whatever that's stressing you out, I feel like you've been triggered by life situation, family, work, finance, or whatever that is, even relationship, particular relationship causing you stress. So take a deep breath, slowly breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. Whatever that is, you can let that go. Let it be tomorrow or something, so that way you're not creating so much stress for yourself that I feel like tied to your headache, partially. This migraine also caused from other form of something else as well, but it's not. Yeah, partially is the emotional stress, partially some physical misalignment you have. Am I allowed to tell him that? Some sort of spinal misalignment, perhaps? Maybe have to do with your physical posture that I'm getting. That you need to do some sort of corrections. I don't know, your spiritual guidance say chiropractor might help you in this regard. If you're not having good posture and you're engaging in this old pattern, sitting, standing, doing work, like in a prolonged positions that you're not when to shift, like stretch your body, that could cause some misalignment as well. But there's a couple reasons. That's the top two reasons that I'm picking up for that. So this codependency thing coming from support causing you unable to break free, unable to see a deeper meaning of about your life. Okay, that's what I'm getting here. That's why you're stuck with negativities that get you nowhere, that you're vibing negativities. I will mention about stress, headache, right? So those are come from negativities. Even basic posture, you're not willing to do right by your body, that come from negativity as well. I am not too sure, but it won't let me dive deeper into that. About I feel like tied to your feelings, tied to your environment, that you're not seeing the truth of the matter. But let me go to the outcome of that turn away. You your guardian said you have many opportunity, but you turn them away to make the changes. I'm seeing a lot of fishes. They're supposed to be the abundance for you in this lifetime, but I feel like you turn away those opportunities because you can see the truth of a matter. So therefore you're stuck with your old patterns to creating negativity for yourself. And I hope you realize your body, mind, heart, and souls can all vibrate certain type of energy, either positive or negative, but you vibrate the negative kind and not realizing what you need to do to break free of those burdens. But you need to realize how you are attaching those burdens, then you can do something about that. Okay, if you don't realize you're attaching to burdens, like the codependency of that, codependency of the life form. You're stuck in that physical perspective of life, needing money, needing security, needing help, Your insecurity is tied from your lack of confidence, not believing in yourself. You're doubting yourself. Perhaps being judged, being evaluated, that cause you to say, "Oh, I need to meet somebody else standards." That who is Ryan? What is authentic to Ryan's anymore? I'm working all this lifetime trying to meet somebody's standards, somebody demands, somebody expectation of me. So who is really Ryan? If that's all you're doing in this lifetime, and that's really one of the barrier your guardian says one of major barrier why you don't have any breakthrough for your own self to have positivities. So yeah, the outcome is turning away a lot of those things. Okay, is there any more about the support, about the codependency things, venting on angers because of the I feel like because of something that you do in life that you're stuck at, you feel like you don't have a choice. So therefore, those unpleasantness, you're sucking those in, and then you use that, and maybe you realize, maybe don't. Then you vent it on somebody else, like toward your family, like siblings as well. Whatever that situation in your life that trigger you to let it out on them and not realizing you've been suppressing because of lack of the because you're trying to go about meeting people's standard expectation performance, whatever that is, that if you don't, then you're gonna get evaluated somehow unfavorably because you're on survival mode. And let me move on to the next four card for you. It's talk about your the four aspect of your life. Talk about the future, how you see the physical perspective of life. It's like, what is this that is looking into the future? I'm saying you try to look into the future. What is this? Am I gonna have a good, comfortable life? Am I gonna have am I out of problems? Or am I still have more problems? I'm gonna have sickness. How's my health? So am I gonna be happy with the people that matter to me? Is there a comfortable environment? Is there a comfortable, like, comfortable retirement? Comfortable environment as well. Like whatever that you're expecting out of this, all those hard work that you put in, what is that kind of outcome for me when I'm actually not working anymore? That's the way how one sees it in the physical life. It is a major barriers. But I'm not saying you're materialistic sense. You're not. Even though you're driven by that from that physical perspective. Contentment. This is the mind being content, being satisfied. So keep breathing, Ryan, please. Release that. I feel like you're getting triggered. Why is there sadness in you? Why is there loneliness in you? Why you haven't loved yourself the way you need to love yourself? This contentment, I feel like, is a form of suppression as well. Satisfied, contained with life, because I guess you are stuck in this comfort zone. So therefore, you're content with whatever you're having, even though you're feeling headache, even though you're feeling stress, even though you're feeling fear, even though you worry, even though you hurry, even though you get angry, even though you cried, even though you feel sad. For some reason, you're still grieving for someone deep down inside. You haven't really healed whoever that mattered to you, that you're still grieving. Is there anything else I need to talk about this contentment, about the thoughts? It is part of the challenge when you're too contained that you have hard time questioning the obvious and also the not so obvious in life. So you slowly drifted in this pattern and never make it to anywhere to help yourself, to anchor yourself. I feel like you're drifting wherever ocean that you like. I feel like you couldn't find the path, the right path, but deep down inside there's something nudging you, even signs, spiritual signs. I feel like you're getting spiritual signs, something, even the deep down inside, something is nudging you. Hey, this is the right direction. Stop floating on this like everywhere, not going anywhere, because you enjoy those patterns surrounding you, the comfort zone that's surrounding you. This contentment, it's just causing more not to love yourself. Should I move on to the next one? There's more I need to say about the mind, because you have, it's not just expectation that you're having because of the past experiences that in your lifetime, that you're using that to encourage more of the same result. If there's something you want me to channel for him, but I already said enough about that, about the judgment that you're having. You're attaching to past experiences and you using that experiences to recreate the same pattern in your life. The only way to break through is how you're gonna realize that, how they're so directly impacting you, the way you think, the way you feel, the way you value this physical life forms as well. So you need to go back and do quite a bit of reflections on that in order to break free. Is there any more to elaborate here, or Ryan? I'm moving on to the last two cards, discernment about your heart, and then trust your soul. You need to discern about your feelings, Lions. There are positive emotions, there are also negative emotions. And I did mention quite a bit of negative emotion for you here. And you need to discern they're not good for you. They cause you stress. They cause you some form of anxiety as well, like nervousness. So yeah, and can cause you to have upset feeling. For some reason, inflammation can indirectly caused by those negative feelings as well, because it build up stress for you. It's not good for your internal, what do you call it, digestive system, organs, not necessarily digestive system, but in general, right? Emotion can have direct impact on your own health. You know, not just physical health, but mental health as well. And they do affect your soul energy as well. And you haven't really tied back to that. The more negative emotions that you practice, the more your soul has lower energy, and you could cause fatigue, feeling down sometime, cause you wanted to cry. Anything else about this discernment? So you need to realize that negative emotions are not a permanent thing. You can decide that one day I don't want to be angry anymore. I don't want to vent my negative feeling toward another person or people close to me, people I care about. If you want to choose, you can change your language into love instead of the language of fear when you talk to someone, when you're interacting with someone. But you have to discern that first. How are you doing that all this time? If you can discern the way how you feel at that moment in time, that will tell you the type of language that you use to speak. They're all interrelated. When you're in fear, you want to protect yourself, you get more offensive. Wines get offensive. When you're wanting to protect yourself, when you feel like you've been stepped on or some way that trigger this fear and also anger sometimes. I'm not sure which way is which because too many scenario here, too many life event, not me to like to channel every one of them for you. But generally, yeah, it's sometimes fear, sometimes anger. It's like somebody poking at you. It's beyond your tolerance, even though you're usually content. But there's like a trigger point for you to flare up, to use that kind of language towards someone. So if you realize that you don't want to be like that forever, it is up to you to release that, wherever that fear, wherever that anger that you're still holding on to. And you should allow love to guide you back home, Ryan. You need so much self-love in that regard. If you continue to hold on to those negative emotions, that's going to keep robbing your self-love, that loneliness, that tears sometimes that I'm getting, including the way you grieve for that special someone in your heart. And moving on to your last card about the soul, trust. Trust. You need to trust something and also distrust something. So, which way do you want me to talk about first? You're giving me two different scenario here. What does one need to trust? The spiritual sign. You need to trust that gut's feelings. You need to give your you need to trust those opportunities to give yourself a chance to heal. Is there anything else? You need to trust the universe. is doing your greatest good. Do not turn away from them, despite you don't think they are good for you, because you have judgment about those situations are not in your favor, those situations that you don't desire. Those are just your judgments from past experiences. But the universe is trying to tell you you need to take advantage of those situations that you don't desire to learn to discern your feelings, because they are triggering you, for you to realize that those negative feelings are harming you. You're still attaching to them, that you can break free, right? The challenge is about breaking free. And you have to accept life situation the way they are, so that way you don't have to be so uptight holding on to those unpleasantness. So you can learn to break free, letting them go. It's easy for me to say, but it's really up to you to discern, right? What that feelings is at that moment. I think you need to trust that spiritual sign. It is doing your greatest good here to try to tell you, yeah, you can heal if you want to. Nobody can change the way how you feel except your own self. And you have that free will to do that. You don't need support. You don't need to attach to people. How how they give you love, how they give you a word, um prize, prizing you. Oh, you're doing a good job. Do you need that to feel good? That's called codependency. That's called support. It's like you're depending on the external world to support your inside. That's why you're so fragile. That's why you have a hard time breaking free. That's why you keep sucking into all those burdens and not realizing, causing you to be, oh, you're too content. You don't question all of this, the way how you're attaching to all those negativity, just the basic things, external support. What about your internal support? You don't have internal support, and how are you going to love yourself? Loving yourself requires nothing on the outside. Loving yourself is only you can give it to yourself by freeing all those attachment, you all those burden that you have, that causing all those negative feelings. So it isn't about anticipate your future. What is really enough? You need to define that. You can only prepare. You can work toward the goals, but try not to anticipate so much to cause you to worry, cause you to hurry. So anything else to trust. You shouldn't trust information that you're learning through these human worlds. Do you know how many stuff are created by humans based on their own belief system? Do you know how many stuff that humans are creating in this society are artificials that are not good for the human souls? I think you can discern that as basic as food. Yeah, pesticides. It's harmful. Why are they still creating that? Out of making money. You see, money is the motivators. They drive them to do some dark things for peoples. So this is just one of the example of that. When you are trusting too much of what you're getting on the outside, then you don't trust your inside anymore. The guts feeling that you're having, including the universal, the spiritual sign that I'm talking about, that from the nature. Is there specific things like wines need to know? Water. Water can bring you peace. I think that water will help you release all those negative influences in some way. until you learn to release your negative feelings. So that way you're not allowing those, at least you're not allowing those external stuff to continue to encourage your negativities. So I hope this makes sense, Ryan. But I feel like water can help you temporarily calm yourself down, so you can set up a healthy boundary for yourself. That's what I'm sensing here from your spiritual guardians. Is there anything else? Could be any water activity, but it needs to bring you peace and harmony, not to engage in so-called good feelings or so-called excitement. I'm not saying you should go water park and jump right into the pool and swim. Okay, that's not the purpose of this. Okay, that is not about peace and harmony. That's only bring you moment of good feelings, a short moment of excitement. That is not good for you, not good for your mind, not good for your soul, and it's not good for your heart. Maybe a good physical exercise. Okay. But is there any more about this trust card? And this is the end of your Celtic Cross reading. I hope this helped you, Ryan. Interlight Tarot, Divine Reading for Summer. Having the full card here for you. Directions. Choices. Perhaps something is nudging you toward specific directions, and something else is trying to tell you to take a different direction as well, and causing uncertainty sometime in your life. It's also causing you to procrastinate for some reason about particular situations. But deep down inside, you know it is for you. Why is it you are moving on, even though it is for you? Like you're closing your heart and soul to move on. Something happened in your past, and you choose not to choose this path again. Pain, because of pain that you have experienced in your past, particular relationship. Why is this animal, the black cat, assigned on this card? Perhaps you allow animals to become part of your love, and you're disconnecting yourself away from human love because of one unpleasant experience that hurt you a lot. And I feel like you're not even realizing, perhaps you're not realizing there's a higher purpose for you that you need to do in this lifetime, to understand what love is, to recover the truest form of love that you so need, so you can align this love frequency with the universal love. And that's what this universe is supposed to have in that true nature. It is the universal love. Is there any particular thing that she needs to know from this? Do you want me to get a second card for her? Different deck. Want me to use a different deck for you here? Just keep breathing. Want me to elaborate about cats? It is okay to have a animal companion, but summer, you gotta understand your purpose of why you want a cat. If you try to use it to fill your voice, and that's not the healthy way to have a companionship. So be mindful of that. Is this one anymore? Okay, it's a warning from your spiritual guardian. You need to do self-reflection of why you want cat. You're not understanding your own feelings. You haven't dived deep enough to reflect on your own self. But I'm going to use the emotional deck here for you. Abundance is the perception of all the resources in life, knowing that you have all the power and support you need. When abundance appears, it reminds you that the universe always responds to your needs in various ways. He would want me to add that only to serve your greatest good. So do not try to isolate what is abundance. Do not put preference of what kind of abundance you should have. Otherwise, you're going to have a hard time, in this lifetime, chasing after something that is not good for you. So you need to understand your feeling, because I feel like the feeling it's your motivator, like wanting a cat, for example, right? It's there's a feelings that you desire. Desire come from your feeling. If you don't understand your feelings, then how can you tell this is the right thing for you to do? And by the time you get the cats, and then it's probably too late, right? And oh, you're not realizing it's going to be this time efforts. Some animal owner gave up on their animals. Oh, I didn't expect this from the beginning, so therefore they tossed them away on the street. You see all these like unwanted animals out there, and they got them for adoption for reasons. So be mindful of that. Ambivalence. It's the inner tug of war between different choices, leaving you torn when making decisions. When you feel ambivalence, it reminds you to face your inner needs. Finding balance will allow you to make the choice that aligns with your true self. Yeah, choices, path, and all of that is triggering you because you're not sure, because of uncertainty in your life. It also have a lot to do with your past experiences. Lack of understanding about how you value life. Perhaps you lacking the life purpose as well. And that's what checking you how to have a hard time making the right decisions. And you need to face your own self. If you're not willing to face your own feelings, that will be a very difficult to find balance in your life. And you're gonna go extreme and not realizing how you could encouraging your same patterns, same feelings to steer you to the wrong path that are not serving your greatest goods. So that's the type of war that you have to deal with. The more you're willing to face your inner self, the better the outcome's gonna be. So you need to understand, how are you feeling right now? How are you feeling before? You need to understand that. Okay, I have an anger card here. It's Anger is an unmet need or a boundary that has been crossed. It reminds you to set healthy boundary to protect yourself. I don't like this wording here. Protect yourself. When facing anger, learn to be calm and reflective, discovering growth opportunities within. So this is not about protecting yourself, okay? Scratch that wording on this card, okay? Limitation by the author, not understanding spiritualism. I mean, yeah, drawing healthy boundaries shouldn't be come from fear. Drawing healthy boundaries should be coming from universal love. If you don't have love in you and you're having fear, so therefore you're triggering it to have negative boundaries. But if you are doing it out of love, then you will have healthy boundaries. So there's a huge difference. Anger is a type of negative emotions. I hope you're realizing it. And that's not coming from love. That's some type of fear that you're having, that you're not being met at something, triggering angers, because you have some form of expectations. Perhaps the pain inside of you from your past relationship that you haven't dealt with. So it triggers this anger. Sometimes you can suppress this anger to mutate it into something else. You might try to find some activity on the outside to make yourself feel good. Perhaps the inside of you having a void, feeling lonely, not having the love from someone, from something, or even as basic as from animals. So therefore it drives you to avoid your own self. And you go outside to make yourself feel good. But that's only temporary because you haven't dealt with this suppressed issue that you're having. So you need to stop avoiding this anger. If you don't deal with it, then it could lead to depression in the long run. So reflection is so critical in order for you to pour out these feelings. Negative emotions are not permanent. Only you encourage them to continue in your life and not realizing how you're doing that. So your guardians say, don't defer negative feelings toward other activity to make yourself feel good. So the more you dive deeper into your inner world, the more you can discover how you can grow. There are so much opportunity within you to help yourself, so you don't have to keep attaching to those negativities. Is there anything else I need to do for summer here? And this is the end of your divine reading. May you find life in your spiritual guardian. Kilter cross for Trinity. True abundant, that's the topic. Using the psychic tarot for you here. Let me put this so that way I have it here. So I'm able to fit all this card is a little bit big here. Try to fit them in here a little bit. I have 4 more cards not showing, but we'll get to that for you. New beginning, that's the theme. You need to have a new beginning. It's about throwing away all the stuff, the old patterns, start fresh. Throw away all those clutter that you stuck in your mind, behavior, feelings. That's what this new beginning about. If you went to step forward to this a new version of you, a newer path that you don't technically or usually take, that is a new beginning here. I'm not saying that you need to go about physically move to a different location. That's not what it means. It's mean about the energetic feeling that you have Trinity. It's all about your energy. And where's your energy coming from? It's from your feelings. I hope you are aware when I say energetically, that's what you need to have, that new beginning. So once you have that, once you can engage yourself from the inside, that will trigger a new beginning for you. That's the theme of that. And what's the challenge? It's about awareness. The challenge is not having your inner awareness, perhaps your perspective of life, perhaps the value of life, perhaps the norms or so-called standard of life that you're still stuck in. that cause you not to have the awareness that you so need. If you don't have awareness, how are you aware that you're taking a new beginning? Like I said, if you don't aware of your own energy, how do you know you already changed your energy? So therefore, these two cards really tie together. You cannot do away without one or the others. So let me move on to the dark card, which is the throat chakra here. So it's about speaking, right? Your thought, exactly where that is. And this is as above. This card position from the spiritual perspective is saying that, are you speaking the truth? Are you still denying something? Are you still allowing something to influence you that is not your authentic version? So therefore, you're not speaking the truth. Are you having the awareness of that? That's another culprit, right? Another barrier. How can you tell when you're under so much influences? Moderate level sometime. Not that she doesn't have her own mind, but she's not understanding how emotion is influencing her, how past experiences, the judgment can influence her to misinterpret things as well. So there are so many factors involved in that, right? Influences come in so many different forms. Family can influence you, people you care about can influence you, people that you don't like can influence you, like the environment can influence you. Do you have particular thing about the environment that you prefer that can influence you, right? It could be a positive influence, could be a negative influence as well. So you can tip yourself into different sides of that. So you gotta realize you can go to the negative side, you can go to the positive side, but it's hard for you to get into the middle point of that where you no longer have the positive and the negative. You somehow you're getting the either extreme side of it, causing the influences. It's hard for you to let those two polarities go. So that's why you're having hard time awareness, why you're having polarities, right? Because of preference, because of influences, because you have feelings toward particular individual cause you to have that. I'm not just talking about people, right? I talk about influence, situations as well, all kinds of things, right? But let me move on to so below the intuitions. Intuition is your sixth sense, is your soul language. It have nothing to do with your physical body, five senses. So you need to understand that we all human beings have it, but they choose not to align to your universal love frequency. So therefore, they stuck in their own egoistic self. They have hard time connecting to the intuitions. But there's another category where people are actually born with it. Either they choose to embrace it or they just shut it out because of our fear, or I don't care for that because I don't believe in it in that regard. But when it comes to Trinity, you do believe in it. And you do have it. Doesn't matter what kind of level, how strong that might be, and you do have it. Sure, you can strengthen it by having the awareness, by speaking the truth. That's how you can strengthen these intuitions. But you have to dive within to your inner world to understand it. How can you let go all these clutters? How can you let go all these influences? How can you let go all these preferences? How can you let go all those personal desires as well that are not serving your greatest good? You know how personal desire to causing polarity, the negative and the positive, how for you to be neutralized. Intuition requires neutralization. You have to be in that phase, not triggered by personal desire. And that's how you really activate the soul language, okay? But I'm using a very short version for you. Of course, there's some technical stuff involved, but however, but you need to change your perspective. You need to increase your awareness, okay? So you need to learn to turn off your ego self and open up this channel, so-called portal, to connect to your higher self. The more you can dive within to your inner world, the better you are doing it. If you're so focused on the outside, to your day-to-day situation, day-to-day activities, that's what moving you away from awareness. You're only aware of the outside but not on your inside. Perhaps particular individual triggering you, perhaps situation that's triggering you, and so forth. Shall I move on to the next one? So this is the influence card here. Let me move this up. Spiritual strength. And then the outcome, right? The power card here. Influence card. Spiritual strength. Should I go to that book? No, I don't need guidebook. Perhaps you have personal preference. Perhaps something is awakening in you. Trinity. That's what I'm sensing. Perhaps you're going through some dark night of your soul. I don't know how recent. That's what your spiritual guardian telling me. You're recently going through some dark night of your soul. You're having some spiritual awakening. It's a wonderful thing, Trinity. There's nothing to be afraid of when it comes to realizing your own darkness. The more you're aware of your own self, the better you can learn to grow. What is this growth is about? This personal growth is to recover the truest form of love, to align to the universal love, that love frequency that I'm talking about here. Not the one that you've been learning all your lifetime. Not the one that you see how people keep practicing love toward each other. That's not the kind that I'm talking about. Not the one from the movie or TV drama. They keep playing all those dramatic things about relationship. That's not what I'm talking about. This universal love has no negative emotion involved. There is no ulterior motive involved. There is no preference involved. There is no dark compassion involved. So I hope you see that there is no conditioning in this universal love eaters. So, and that's the love that I'm so talking about. It is so pure. It's so lasting. It never breaks, no matter what happened on the outside of you. Because if you're able to ignite this type of universal love, that is really the spiritual strength that I'm talking about here. So as long as you don't allow any of those things that I'm talking about to influence you on that, then you are in the path of a greater awareness. But you have to understand if you're still under those influences. Your spiritual guardians are telling me, yes, a lot. You're still under influenced a lot by this so-called 3D magic society, three-dimensional society, all created by the human creations because their own opinions matter, because of their ideas matter, because of what they values matter, because all that driven in this physical form of life cause you to get stuck in that patterns. Like you didn't have a choice, you just born in this society. Do you see how much influences that you are under? Perhaps you're under pressure as well by situations. I don't know how often you get that. But if it's trigger a whole bunch of negativity in you, then it is time to go within to understand what can you do to release them so you can align to this so-called universal love. That is the abundance. That is the true form of abundance. Why? Because it not come from conditioning. This happiness come from within you. There is no codependency at all. That is the spiritual strength that I'm talking about. You don't need to do anything on the outside to strengthen this spiritual strength. I'm talking about your soul connections. I'm talking about the light path that you can take if you want this new beginning. But are you aware? Yes, I feel like, yeah, you're starting to have that kind of awareness, but for how long recently? Because of this dark night of the soul causing some sort of spiritual awakening in you. It's a beautiful thing. Can I move on to the next one? The outcome power. If you continue to like the outside, if you continue to focus on the outside, this power, it's going to continue to create new masks for you to wear. You're going to have hard time breaking those barriers. You're going to have hard time surrendering to the universe. You will have hard time letting go your ego. You will have hard time letting go your judgment caused by all those past experiences. And you will have hard time letting go those personal desires that are not serving your greatest good. So you need to understand why you want the abundance. I think there's a fine line that you might crossing here and there to learn your soul lessons. I feel like, yeah, it's okay to make mistakes in this spiritual journey, Trinity. That is the only way to learn your own darkness. That is something in the future. That's what I'm picking up here. So you need to understand what's motivating you, that you want the power, or you feel elevated, or perhaps you feel like there's some special privilege in you. Perhaps there's something called status that you're not realizing. And that's what this power mean, can be so many form, right? When it comes to power. Even when you start having spiritual connections, you might feel special privilege that triggering this power thing. It is not coming from the light. It's coming from your dark side of you that you have not realizing it. Comparisons, classification, preference, good thing as well. I want to fold that in there. What triggering certain people to stay in that little group. There's so many form of groups happens, right, around this world. And that's what caused the separation, caused people to separate from this love frequency, from the universal world. And yeah, it's talk about this outcome. If you continue all of those things that have mentioned in those cards, and that's the outcome, that's not going to serve your greatest good. And I also talk about what you can do to change it, right, as well. So the last four cards here for you. The physical, mind, heart, and soul. The base chakra. Accelerated motions. Sacral chakra. Third eye chakra. Grounding yourself. You need so much grounding in yourself. That's depend, right? What are you still allowed to intrude in your sacred space? Have you formed your sacred space yet from the inside of you? So that way you can hear your inner voice. If you allow a lot of clutter, you allow a lot of influence to get to you because your egos is still on. You haven't turned it off yet. So in this physical world, you need to learn to ground yourself. It's too much going on, right? Too much human creativity. It at the same time causing a lot of garbage, your guardians say. a lot of garbage. They create so much excessiveness in this world to trap people to have so-called demand, creating more variation of supplies. Like people are fear for more desire over and over different variety of things. It's not good. It trigger more your mind to focus on the outside, not focusing on the inside. That's why people have hard time feeling their own emotions. That's why they have hard time having inner awareness. And that is one of the culprit that I'm mentioning. Base chakra, if you ground yourself, perhaps take a few minutes if you want to do silent meditations, or you need to rely on wood chakra meditation music. You can do that. What is that for? Not to think, not to desire. Just have that peaceful moment with nothingness, doing nothing. If you can manage that, that is called grounding yourself. So that way you're not allowing those things that you're holding on to that already attached to you, because of all those influences already contaminate you on the inside. That will give you some temporary release, right? To help you aware of what's going on from your day-to-day life. Couple minutes each day to help you practice this. Anything else? If you need to burn sage incense to help you to temporarily release those negativities, those negative energies, you can do that as well. But remember, this objective is just temporary. This is not to desire anything. This is not about asking for anything. This is, you can do it anywhere, anytime. Just do it at a sacred space that you're not having intrusion, okay? This is not for connecting to anything at all. Just be mindful of that. People are using it to connect to the spiritual world. That is a big no-no. They just don't realize doing chakra meditation is not about connections. Okay, moving on to the mind. Accelerated motions. The mind thinking like actions, using your brain, not using your intuitions. And that is a culprit, another barrier. Perhaps trying to analyze from the external perspective, try to analyze the physical form, like physical interactions. Doesn't matter who you're talking to, wherever you're seeing, wherever you're eating, wherever you're smelling. Those are all physical side of life, causing you to use your mind to think, to analyze things. Oh, what it is, to trigger some sort of something in you. Accelerating this is not a good thing. It won't find you peace in this. Why not have a more observant way of life? Observe, but not engaging so actively with your mind. You can still observe things using your five senses with your body, but why do you need to overthink it? From this reading, you already know there's so much garbage in these human creations, causing people to suck into all these desires. Think about it. Yeah, even you go shopping or something, you see a lot of choices, right? But do you have to engage in all those accelerated motion with your mind? Oh, do I want this? Or this is so nice? Or is this within my budget and all that? But do you ask why are you there shopping from the beginning? What kind of feeling driving you to behave, to act on that decisions? Do you see what I mean? You gotta incorporate all four aspects of your life: your physical self, your mind, heart, and your soul. Without this integration, you're gonna let one of those aspects of your life to motivate you. So you're missing out. Why do you need to go shopping? What is that feeling that's triggering you to do that? Do you understand your physical situation? Do you have space for it? And you have to ask your feelings, is it serving your greatest good? How is it allied to the universal love? Is this really a necessity? Or is it just another desire because some new gadget is out there that trigger your curiosity, interest in that regard? Those kind of good feeling type of thing might not serve your greatest good. So be mindful. I'm just giving you a very basic example of that. How going to shopping can driven by emotion and trigger your mind to think, oh, I want to do that, but you haven't really looked into all four aspects of your life yet to really make that decisions because you don't have that inner awareness yet. So let me move on to what is this? The heart, sacral chakra, creativity. I'm trying to say is an orange color. It's just right above the base chakra. Yeah, creativity, water element. Water element is also about emotions. So your heart is about your emotion as well. So is there any particular closing heart? You close your heart with bitterness. That's what I'm getting from your spiritual guardian. Family, relationship with parents, whatever happened in the past, even recently, comes with anger, come with disappointment, feels like lacking love, lacking support system. That triggering all this. Do you see how this type of life situation experiences can cause you to not understand universal love? I feel like you need to do some forgiveness in this regard. And I feel like you need to do some acceptance as well. You can embrace your life. Who is Trinity? What is offended to her? And you can draw a healthy boundary with family as well. Do you get emotional triggered by them? If yes, Trinity, time for you to go dive right into your inner awareness to feel what that kind of feeling. Like I said, you need to do forgiveness and also have compassion as well. You know, we are living in this dark world. You cannot expect too much out of someone because you still have sort of a attachment toward them. Family is a status as well. You see them, yeah, family does affect a child a lot more than anything else. Their family backgrounds, like everybody going through all of that, but they just don't realize how the attachment has negatively affect the person, right? Affecting you. So if you realize it, yeah, and also that you allow those forgiveness and compassion and unconditional love in your heart to open that up, that will help you to work on that abundance that I'm talking about, the lasting love, lasting happiness. And I hope that you understand this is how you're going to ignite that self love without any conditioning. Loving yourself unconditionally is also reflect in your day-to-day language toward other people as well. If you're not speaking this love language, that means you're still holding on to negativity to cause you not to truly love yourself in an unconditional way. And that's a way of how to tell you're not. And this hot aspect of life is also a powerful thing as well, because you can choose this path, this new beginning, to see the truth about the darkness in human being, in yourself, and then you want to do something to transform it within you. This is not about transforming other people. People tend to shift their focus on the outside and try to change the situation, try to change the people through arguing, or to try to stop something in, oh, that's my own opinion, information that I know toward you. But it's hard for that individual to accept it, because they don't even understand, because they're stuck in their own ego, stuck in their own darkness as well. So instead of trying to do something for the other person, or trying to do something on the outside, or wherever that is, why not take that opportunity to change yourself? But do you have that awareness? Are you taking that new beginning? So that is the power of your own free will, Trinity. And you can do it if you want to change, and you don't have to stuck in that outcome card, right? Be mindful of that. It isn't about achieving power. Love, it is not come from power at all. Love, it's just being a true human being. We have always been that kind of human being from long time ago. It just is not even documented in the human history as of today. It just lost forever. And that's why we are encouraging darkness in each other, until you have spiritual awakenings to realize that, yeah, this is not really for me, right? So this is the last card here. It's about the soul, the third eye chakra here. This is a gateway to connect to your soul. The eye chakra is not so much about seeing. People use it to open it up, to get information that's come from personal desire. Don't do it, Trinity. Otherwise, you're going to attract a whole bunch of negative energy, including negative entity at the fourth dimensional realm. That's when people die, their soul go travel there, because they're stuck in their own negativity. That's the last thing that you want me, that's the last thing that you want to do that, okay? There are people doing it, and I'm trying to tell you, and they just want to get reading from me, and I have to even not do it for them, because a few times they shut down my electronic, because they don't even understand that they're attaching to negative entity. So sage incense can help protect you from that regard, but don't do it out of fear. Do it for drawing healthy boundary, until you learn to release your negativities, all those influences, okay? Is there any particular thing about she need to do about her third eye chakra intuitions? That's basically it, intuition. And that's where it's coming from. I feel like you will naturally open this. You don't even need to meditate. I sense like you don't even need to. Some people had to activate. I have to activate it through meditation. I wasn't born with that, because I was just born with mediumship in current lifetime. But I feel like you, on the other hand, if you want to take this new beginning, I feel like slowly your intuition will strengthen in this path. You will able to connect with your spiritual guardian as well, not just your inner voice and inner guidance. So the more you work toward to this universal love, everything will naturally come to you. I'm talking about this infinite abundance coming from the light source. Your soul has the sea of light awaiting for you to ignite. Is there anything else I need to tell Trinity here? There's something else about the eye chakra? She had tried to. For some reason, I'm getting a message here that you're trying to do that through personal reason. So you need to put a stop to it. Don't do it. Focus on grounding yourself with sage, okay? Don't do that if you have in the past. You need to keep working on releasing those negativities. For some reason, fear coming through me strongly. Fear of something. When you're being triggered by life situation, that fear quite strong. Perhaps you're doing this third eye chakra in the past, not realizing you're attracting something from the fourth dimensional side. That's something you don't want to do that, okay? Not anymore. So, but focus on this grounding, okay? A couple minutes, that's all it takes per day to see how well you can silence yourself, to bring yourself back into nothingness. Anything else? Got to end here for you. I hope you find this Celtic Cross reading helpful to you, and may you find light from your spiritual guardian. Question readings. One for Latonya. She just wanted to know what kind of spiritual message for her right now, using Akashic Tarot and the Sea and Sickle Oracle for you. Let me put this in here as well. First one, the Essence, Seven of Key, and the Queen of Key here. But let me go to the guidebook. Seven of Key. Gold. Difficult path. This guy is climbing on top of the mountain with the sun showing. It's supposed to be beautiful, but however, the way he is climbing to the mountain, he has difficulty. There's like obstacles. He's going through some sort of some sort of chaotic, obstacle thing along the way to get there. And then he's finding relief with all those negativity that he is while he was climbing through this mountain. And this is like an expression of you, like while you're doing that, you're facing a whole bunch of negativities, and are you aware of that you are expressing those negativities while doing some specific task, encounter certain situation, or even the one that you label them as obstacles? Do you have to wait until you're on top of the mountain, like, oh, I finally achieved something, oh, now I can relax? So why can you not relax while you're doing the task, while you're facing the situation, while you're doing it? Only when you have finally achieved it, then you're relaxing. So I think like that's the expression of that you're not enjoying your everyday life. You're not embracing every little moment that you have in your life as well. So this is something to be mindful of that. So do not be like this climber that you have to achieve something before you feel happy or satisfied or relaxing in that regard. Is there a reversal here on this card? Losing something or distancing something. I'm reading the reversal here. Or falling out of something, wherever that is. Or the effort, it's not a waste. For some reason, I don't like the word "don't pay off." That's not the correct wording here. But I'm sensing like, yeah, your effort that you feel like it's a waste, but on a spiritual perspective, it's actually showing you a blessing through those effort that you think that they are wasteful. So it's quite the opposite the way you are viewing or feeling about them. because of those efforts that you don't like. It's always telling you that you have preference, that you already have dislike about something. Those are your negativity. Hopefully you're embracing this trigger here whenever you think that you're wasting your efforts. So that is something that you need to learn to release that type of negative feelings about wasting efforts. No efforts are in waste, only your mindset telling you so. So this is really a self-inflicted feelings, and just be that is some sort of inner work that you have to work on. But let me move on to the Queen of Key here. This queen is looking out on top of the castle. Wherever she's seeing, she's happy, she's smiling, but holding on to a book. There are quite a bit of pages, like she putting a bookmark on whatever pages that she found it to be important. Hmm. Perhaps too much note taking. Perhaps she's still studying the notes and then realize something about it. But she's not living her life that where she's actually being, how to say it, she's too trapped into her own books. It's not natural. It's like something has to be written down somewhere with the step-by-step informations. So it's like she doesn't know how to live her life without a book, without some sort of guidance, without some sort of step, or without some sort of instruction. So therefore, she's kind of stuck in that, in that regard. Like living your life, you don't need a book to tell you how to live your life. You just go out and explore every single life event that you're encountering. So why be like her to study everything in a book? Like your life is like fixated on the book, like pre-written for you, which is not a good thing. Okay, it is like a codependency, and a form of codependency in here. If you don't have that guidance, then you have hard time living your life. So let me move on to, is there any more I need to say here? Let me move on to next stack here. This is the mistletoe and then citrus here. Which guidebook? That's 48. So let me read this. This mistletoe is it's a plant of peace. Hmm. If you try to fight, if you try to struggle, it is trying to tell you to lay down this type of efforts. Fighting with someone, or she's struggling within her own self. Both. You might be arguing with somebody, maybe you're having conflict with somebody. It's just okay to have different idea, but you just have to respect each other, so to disagree. And that's okay to have different own opinions. But then the other side of it is like struggling within your own self as well. So it depends what situation that you're encountering, is either interaction with someone, particular individuals, or you're having that struggle within you, like your thoughts, the feeling that you don't really express through your words, okay? That type of struggles. So there are both two different scenarios here. They try to ask you to step back and view it from a different perspective, so that way you're not stuck with your own mind and feeling of that particular situation, individuals, and also in your inner chaos. So you need space. You need a different type of sacred space, not the one that you are attaching to. You need to become like an observer from the outside, view it from the outside of the from it. If you trap yourself in the inside, it's hard for you to take yourself outside of it to see a different angle. That is the whole point is trying to make here. So don't make rash decision as well. This card is saying. At the same time, you need that sacred space to hold a different perspective. Let me move on to the next one, the citrus. 45. This citrus fruit is about protective power. Out of your control, or perhaps you're still trying to control the situation and specific individual here. That's what it's saying. That's why you're having this protective power. Perhaps you feel like you understand more, you feel like you're more experienced, or perhaps you know something, so makes you want to send that kind of vibe to that specific individuals. Being protective can also meaning controlling something, right? Controlling the outcome instead of allowing that individual to go out and explore, to have his or her own free will in that regard. Perhaps you're just engaging in some sort of try to change the person's mind or somehow in that regard. And that's what this means when you're trying to control. Okay, I'm not saying you're doing it out of malice in any way. Perhaps you're doing it out of being good in that sense, but not realizing you're also engaging in this negative emotions, right? You have this underlying emotion out of fear. You're doing it out of fear, you're not doing it out of love, because you're afraid of this person might be taking a wrong turn, wrong path, or you feel like this person will be in harm way. So do you see how that is? You are anticipating someone's future out of fear. That is coming from your negative emotion. That's not coming from unconditional love. So you need to dive deeper into your own self to understand why you want to have this like a protective power. You don't go dive within you. You keep studying your book like this lady here, and that's it. And you won't understand why, what is your feeling that motivate you to do things. So is there any more about this citrus card? So sometimes you need to step back and let people be their own way. You cannot help people in that regard when you cannot even help your own self. I hope you realize it, okay, Latonya. So this is the end of the spiritual messages that you're asking for. May you find light from the spiritual guardian. It asked me to give you extra card on this, okay? If I'm waiting using this two deck here for you, for Morgan. Put this over here, shift this over here. Honor your agreement, mission, emotion. Should I go to a guidebook here? Mission, emotion. It is about your life purpose to heal the darkness within you that is inherited, that is encouraged, that caused you to continue to get stuck in them, continue to practice them. Yeah, it's just like negative emotions versus positive emotions. That's how you discern your dark and light. And that is something that it's going to be a lifetime thing. It's not that simple, right? It's not that easy to just to deal one negative emotion at a time, because the complexity has a lot to do with life situation, and you and people around you are still influencing you one way or another because of this negative emotion that you have, that pulling your string, right? Your heartstring, in other words. So, yeah, until you realize, oh, somebody is still pulling your heartstring. Even a particular environment is still doing that to you. Yeah, so you're grieving, and I'm sorry. It's you lose someone that you care about. It's never easy, right? That is one of the most challenging to heal when that person means so much to you. And it's gonna take some time for you to navigate, to understand the love journey. What is love? Why love is so hard? Yeah, why is it so hard to love? Why can you not love with happiness? Why does happiness doesn't stay lasting forever? Perhaps there is some point of view that you still stuck at. The way you value life is still stuck at that. So if you can identify that, what is that codependency you're having to cause you unable to let go of that grieving feeling, right? This is just one example here. Of course, there's some other thing that you have to release as well. So if you can identify that, and then you can change the way you perceive life. Life doesn't have to be physical. Life can be also spiritual, right? How are you incorporate your spirit self into living? That is something you have to ask yourself about this, this beautiful journey about learning love, learning what is really true love, learning what is universal love, learning what is unconditional love. And many people are lacking that in this entire world. That's why they have so much conflict with family, why there's always problem in the families, why people are get angry, why do they get fear, you know why they're so insecure, why they have to be so selfish, all of that, all kinds of judgment toward each other, like toward the loved one, until they just don't realize what they're doing until someone is gone. And then you try to go back and mend it, and it's really too late. Whether to do it while the person is alive, treat that person better while they're alive. I always say that to my family as well. Why do you have to wait until someone go to the grave, and then all you do is bring flowers and try to grieve in front of the at the thumb? Why can you not cherish the person while it's alive? Spend every single moment that you can while this person is alive, and cherish it, that happy moment. I mean, that's all you can go back to those memory, right? And that's another way of saying that live in that spiritual love, not that physical love, longing for that person to exist, right? I mean, of course we have to go, we all have to go. So yeah, I think you know it, Morgan, that you're on this love journey path, learning what is this type of love, why this love does not require anything, why this love does not need to attach to anything, and you still feel happy that your entire well-being is full of this love. And let me move on to, should I go to the second deck? I think I want me to go to message of air. I think this card and go with this one, and this one go with that one. But let me go to message of air and see what I need to elaborate here for you. Opinions informed by experience, adherence to dogma, Allegiance to a way of thinking or acting, a learned response, subconscious programming, and swift reaction or responses. So I'm just reading this card here on the guidebook. I think that, oh, it's just the possible meaning of that. Do I need to read the affirmation statement, that particular one, all of them? These are all the affirmations, okay, statement that I'm reading right now. I need to broaden my perspective. I am reacting to a situation from my past. I have to think about whether I want to do things the old way or respond differently this time. I can adapt a new way of thinking and behaving. If I am swift and move quickly, ensuring my actions are for the highest good, positive outcomes are assured. Those are the uh, realignment that you need to do. If you switch those affirmation statement in the other way, and that's what's going on with you right now, so you need to reverse that and focus on doing exactly what those affirmations are trying to tell you. Okay, so let me move on to this one, the Guan Shou Protect Merkaba activation. Let me see which page on this guidebook. 89. This is talk about Merkaba star. Not that I'm familiar with, but it's saying that it houses your spiritual light body in the sacred geometry. It is your soul chariot, encoded with divine love and programmed to wake you up to your true self as you remove energetic interference and raise your vibration, raise your frequency. And let me change it. I don't like the word vibration, it's inaccurate. And then it say it pumps your energetic field to emit signals that are distant to your unique soul frequency, creating a direct line of spiritual communication between you and your higher realm, basically your higher self, your soul. Anything else here? Learning to raise your frequency, right? Through deconditioning, through releasing influences, through healing your negative emotions with some positive emotion like forgiveness, like loving yourself without any conditioning, even loving someone without conditioning in that regard. So, and that's how you work on raising your own frequency, because as you release all those negativities and all those what do you call those, lower energy will dissipate, and then slowly your energy will increase, and that's how it rises. That's how you feel lighter and lighter, and that's called healing your soul. That's also another term called soul ascension. You might hear this term, but you can Google it as well. What is soul ascension? It's out there. um, and that's how it works. Is all this negative emotion translate into lower energy, positive emotion translate into higher energy, and that's how you eventually not like living your life on the external way anymore. You're living your life in an internal way. You're allowing your internal self to guide you how to live your life. You don't need to go see how people doing it. You don't need to research anything. You just ultimately know from the inside, this is the right direction. This is the next thing for you to do. That's the beautiful part about allowing your higher self to guide this lifetime. But anything else on this? So so you don't need to be afraid. You don't need to like hide in a shell. You don't need to feel like you need to protect yourself out of fear or out of insecurity in that way. But you can always ground yourself, doing some silent meditations can help you in a few minutes to see you can silence your inner turmoils, silence all those interference on the outside perhaps. Sometimes environment can do that. If that seeing something, oh, that reminds you of someone, right? That could be emotional triggers. You can learn to help yourself to silence within yourself, not to create those type of chaos, right? And see how long you can do that. A couple minutes a day goes a long way, right? So that way you can be calmer, so that way clarity can come back to you, so you can understand what you need to do next. Let me go to this last card, Three of Air, and how to interpret for you. Silver lining, natural departure, rejection, it's got protections, okay? So, just the journal meaning of this card, but let me read this affirmation statement here. A third party helps me to see the truth of this situation. What is truly mine can never be withheld from me. Rejection is spirit's protection. It's in my best interest to let go and allow for something better to take its place. It is my highest good to see the truth regardless of my temporary discomfort. This too shall pass. I think it's about facing your own darkness, right? Facing like yourself when you are being triggered out of your comfort zones. Whatever it is that is not making you feel good. It is a time to see it like a blessing because it's telling you that what else do you need to heal. And that will be a good affirmation about that. So do you not see rejection is a bad thing? Perhaps there is something inside of you that you need to learn about that, about whatever that situation might be. For some reason, there's a third party, could be meaning anybody. It doesn't mean third party in a romantic sense, so that's not what it means on this statement here. Just another person outside of your people that you usually interact with, perhaps maybe a stranger, perhaps people that you don't interact with all the time but suddenly come into your life and to trigger you or sending you a spiritual message as well. And yeah, it's good to open your ears to see what that is trying to tell you, right? This person, is there anything else? Discomfort. Yeah, embrace the discomfort. Discomfort is usually triggered by some sort of feelings, some negative feelings that you need to learn to release. Is there anything else for Morgan here? I'm going to end this divine reading for you. May you find light from your spiritual guardian, and I hope this helped you.